ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups, technology and entrepreneurship. I'm Chandra Shrikant coming to you from India's startup capital, Bengaluru. And clearly, 1 year of demonetization, how can we not dedicate an episode of Startup Central to that? Because the impact has been profound in terms of digital payments, transactions, the amount of interest that the fintech space has seen in the last year. If you look at the proliferation of digital wallets, startups powered by UPI, and even a lot of startups who now want to lend using digital means. But what does this really mean, and has it translated to an impact on the ground? Those are some of the questions that we will explore on this episode of Startup Central. We also have two big voices in PayPal, which has launched their India operations today, and MobiKwik to really take us through how demonetization has changed life for them. Remember, we also got you Paytm yesterday, but let me go to our top story first, where Rahul Dalma takes us through some fast facts and figures on what 1 year of demonetization has meant in terms of digital transactions, in terms of transactions using UPI. In fact, he also visited one of the first digital villages in Karnataka to assess the impact, to give you a reality check a year after demonetization.
Chandra, let's really, take the viewers through the numbers impact, the real story as far as the digital payment space in India is concerned. What is the state? Are people increasingly using digital modes to pay, or are they back to cash? So numbers from NPCI and RBI indicate that the total value of transactions have sort of seen a dip on the electronic channels. So in November, when demonetization was introduced, it was about 94 lakh crore of value of transactions that was taking care through debit, credit cards, net banking. It saw a massive surge in March, really August, but things now, the closest in October, is sort of back to closer to the pre-monetization levels. So, there was a surge, and things as far as value of transactions are concerned, with cash coming back to system, people are using cash increasingly. Wallets also, there has been a dip of the value of transactions. Remember, right after demonetization, there was a surge led by private wallet players, be it Paytm or MobiKwik. So we are seeing, while it was about 3,000 odd crore in October, it surged in March, and it's sort of coming down now, closest numbers. Also sort of mobile wallets are no more the preferred destination, with UPI really being a big move and focus. So coming to UPI, remember, this is the most exciting space. NPCI launched it. There's the Bheem app. There are UPI apps and functions from Google, other private players also in the space. So that has indeed seen a massive surge from as low as 1,000 odd crores, 1,600 crores in January. That's now up to about 5,000 crore odd rupees in September 2017. But while we're seeing the UPI transactions go up, they still only form about 1% of the total transactions that are done electronically. Lastly, the number of POS machines have also doubled over the last 1 year, because merchants are increasingly using them. So the verdict clearly in terms of numbers is that the value of transactions are coming down. People are increasingly using UPI. Mobile wallets also, there's a dip. This is all the numbers, but what's really the real story on the ground? Well, I went to a digital village here in Karnataka on the outskirts of Bangalore to really find out how people are using. Are they using debit, credit cards? Is cash really back? There is the special report from there. It's been 1 year of demonetization after a big push by the central government for digital payments and the entire payment landscape. Banks really came all out with the idea of a digital village to empower villages and create awareness as far as the digital side of the economy is concerned. We do a reality check on where the initiative stands, 1 year into demonetization. We are here at the Vandura Guppe village, about 100 kilometers from the IT hub Bengaluru. This village, just beside the Bangalore-Mysore highway, really is one of the first villages to be called a digital village here in Karnataka. So you had massive campaign really launched by Bank of Baroda, which has adopted this village to really fuel the digital economy in this village. So about 2,000 villages here now have a bank account, debit cards, POS machines were promised to several vendors, and bank officials really went around educating villages about the benefits of a digital economy. But 1 year down the line, seems like cash is back to be the king as far as this digital village in Karnataka is concerned.
ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ಅದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ನಮಗಿನ್ನೂ ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಬಂದಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ. ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಬಂದಮೇಲೆ
ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ರೇಷ್ಮೆ ಸಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಮತ್ತು ಹಸು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿನೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರೋದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಯಾರು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ.
There you heard it. While most of the villages do have a bank account and their ATM debit cards, a lot of these POS machines have still not made their way to the shopkeepers and vendors here. So while in what was supposed to spur digital revolution as far as demonetization is concerned, 1 year into its implementation, India's digital villages have returned back to cash. And how? While UPI and wallets are driving the revolution as far as digital payments in urban pockets are concerned, in the digital villages here, cash still remains the king. While bank officials say a lot more will be done in the coming years, and this is really the start to create the awareness among villagers, one thing is true: to really achieve the dream of a digital India, a lot more will have to be done in the rural pockets and hinterlands of India. Rahul Daima with Santosh Kumar in Bangalore for ET Now.
Thanks for that ground report, Rahul. So it's pretty clear. I mean, you know, over 75% of the population might have access to a bank account. A lot of them might have access to a debit card, but are they really using that, or is cash is back? I think that's the question we have to ask. And going by that anecdotal evidence there, it looks like people are still a little wary when it comes to using debit cards. But away from that, to the other big announcement that happened today, PayPal, that's globally known for really leading the charge when it comes to digital payments, digital transactions, has now officially launched its domestic operations in India. Now, it has operated in India for the last decade, but you know, this mostly was in the area of cross-border payments when merchants had to transact with other merchants overseas, but they are now going to open up their payment gateway to consumers. We are joined by two top officials leading this effort, Rohan Mahadevan as well as Anupam Pahuja from PayPal. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us on Startup Central. Rohan, I just want to start with you. You know, nearly 2 decades after incorporation, a decade after being in India on the fringes, you have finally taken that big plunge into the payment space in India. Is it coming too late, and you know, what does it really mean for you, considering the space is already overcrowded? What really gave you the confidence to go full throttle at this point?
Yeah, thanks for the question. We've been operating in India for the last 10 years, primarily as a business where we help merchants and consumers ship goods internationally. And so basically having the merchants in India access the 217 million customers we have globally right now. The timing of this is, we really enter markets when we actually see and hear our customers demanding us to actually come in and solve problems for them. That's when we determine when to go into markets. And over the last year, we've actually heard our customers a lot. And the primary areas that they're actually talking to us about what problems they want us to solve in India is really around reliability, about security, and about safety. Reliability about making sure that the systems are up, that transactions can be processed with a 99.999 uptime, that we are actually secure, we don't share financial information, we have 24/7 fraud monitoring. We work with regulators, we work with law enforcement to keep the system safe. And then most importantly, on the safety side, consumers and merchants can, can be protected. So if something goes wrong in the transaction, that PayPal will take care of it and will actually pay them for that amount, for what they purchased. And then, of course, the need for very good, high-quality customer service for when people are actually giving you the trust of holding their money for them. So all of those three areas are the key, the reliability, security, and safety are the key demands that we've seen from customers in India. And so, especially after the demonetization that happened literally exactly 1 year ago to date, that has actually fueled the acuteness of the pain more, and that's why we are actually coming in and meeting the needs of the customers in this market.
Anupam, coming to you, take us through what this means. I mean, is it going to be a payment gateway? Will you look at, incorporating Bheem UPI at that stage, since that's something everyone is doing? I am aware you do not have a digital wallet license, but perhaps that's a good thing in light of RBI's recent norms when it comes to prepaid instruments. So how is PayPal going to operate in India?
I think, the conversation has to be about what problems you're solving for the consumers, not what tools you're using to solve those problems. You could use PPI, you could use UPI or any other regulatory framework to solve those problems. And to me, that's not as important as, are you really helping the consumers create an environment where they can shop fearlessly at a merchant that they do not know? Can we keep their information, their financial details safe so that they don't have a fear of losing that information to fraudsters, etc., etc. So I think the conversation should not be about necessarily, in my mind at least, about what tools we're using. But just to answer your question, we are coming into the market as a payment aggregator, and we'll bring on various different, we'll work within the different regulatory environment in India to ensure that we bring all of our product suites that we have overseas to the India market as and when it justifies for those products to come to India. And I believe that we have aggressive plans for India and winning in India, and I think we have the right sort of timing to enter India as well.
Rohan, coming back to you, I have been talking to a few people in the payment ecosystem in Bengaluru, and the question on top of their minds is, what is PayPal building for India? I mean, Pays is a very India-specific product developed by Google. So, will PayPal look at doing something specifically for India? Are you going to bring your global product here, or will you look at combining your digital stacks with the digital stacks available in India? How is that going to come about?
Yeah, so, PayPal is PayPal, and I want to make sure we keep it that way. And I would say that the main goal here is, by being a customer champion, which is what we are for the merchant and the consumer, we look at using our global risk management capabilities, our global product scalability, technology capabilities to solve payment problems for our consumers and merchants. That's what we do as a business. And what customers here are going to really benefit from is the fact that we innovate locally. There's numerous examples. Actually, we just gave a beautiful press conference over here in Bombay, and with a lot of reporters who had come in, and we shared how we actually innovate in terms of things like free return shipping that we have, that we started over in Europe, where a customer can go to a merchant, and the merchant can offer the customer saying, if you buy from me using PayPal, you can actually return, if you have a challenge with returns, you can actually return it for free using PayPal. It's a great value proposition that now we've scaled globally. In Germany, we have a situation where we let customers actually pay upon invoice. We give the money to the merchant when they make the purchase, but then it takes about a week or so for the goods to get delivered, and then we invoice the customer for that. That's a great solution that we're also trying to looking at scaling globally. So what customers here will get is a highly innovative, highly asset-rich global company that innovates locally to solve local problems, and with the primary focus of keeping the customer front and center in these solutions.
Welcome back to Startup Central, and let's quickly go across to one more big voice in the payment space to really take us through 1 year of demo. MobiKwik founder and CEO Bipin Preet Singh. Bipin, people have been debating the execution of demonetization, the end results, but would you broadly agree that at least from a fintech perspective, one big factor that demonetization helped with was really evangelizing digital payments, getting people used to the idea of going digital?
Yeah, I think, firstly, thanks for having me on your show. Last 12 months have been an incredible time for digital payments and financial services industry in India, and not just for MobiKwik but for the entire industry. I think we can see that as a seminal event which has happened in the history of India, and I think it sort of accelerated that adoption of digital payments, and advanced it in terms of what was supposed to be done in 3 years happened in less than 12 months. And that has got to do with 2-3 things. I think the first thing is that on the consumer side, a very strong wave of consumer awareness was created. Firstly, at the time of demonetization, due to the need that was there, which resulted in, I think, 150 million more customers trying out digital payments of some form, including mobile wallets like MobiKwik or UPI or other kind of solutions, which was only 50 million, maybe a year ago. So overall, today we can say that 200 million people have tried digital payments of some sort, which in itself is a fantastic achievement, because the pace at which we were growing, it would have taken another 2-3 years for us to get there. Secondly, in terms of businesses, if you understand, most of India's retail runs on cash, and most of it is small mom and pop shops. That has got a taste of digital payments in the last 12 months. So more than 10 million merchants started accepting digital payments. Our own entire base, which was around 2 lakh merchants, small merchants, expanded more than 10 times to 25 lakh, which is 2.5 million merchants. If we look at our own user base, it increased from 20 million to more than 75 million today. And I think, therefore, from consumer side as well as from small merchant side, it triggered a huge adoption of digital payments. In addition, I think the regulation has also been changing dynamically in the last 12 months. It sort of forced the regulators and the government to start looking at the regulation of digital payments and financial services much more actively, much more closely, which means that today we are in a position where a mobile wallet is getting closer and closer to being like a bank account.
Bipin, RBI recently released its rules for prepaid instruments. A lot of people see it as very stringent. I know you already had, you were one of the first players with a UPI offering, but what does this broadly mean for the future of wallets? Will owning a wallet business in India become unattractive going forward?
Yeah, so I think that the guidelines, the new guidelines on wallet are very clear that only serious players should be there in the market as far as mobile wallets are concerned. And RBI is clear that the industry has reached a particular stage of maturity that this kind of a stringent guidelines should be acceptable. The industry doesn't believe so, but I think currently, as far as I believe, the way we are going forward is that we will have to do KYC of each and every customer. However, how we do it, the form that we do it, which is electronic KYC, and whether that can be treated as full KYC, and whether all the issues related to Aadhaar, which are part of eKYC, they can be addressed in terms of linking of mobile numbers, because even today, even the telecom companies have not been able to complete that. So expecting the wallets to do that before that, I think it's a bit hard. So we do expect that it will take time in terms of KYC to happen, but it will happen over a period of time. But at the same time, what they have given is that all wallets should now be able to talk to each other via interoperability, via UPI. At the same time, wallets will be able to talk to bank accounts seamlessly over UPI. So essentially, a MobiKwik user will be able to get an @MobiKwik kind of a VPA handle very soon, which is a fantastic news, which means that we become formal legitimate players in the in the financial services domain in terms of connecting our accounts with bank accounts. Money movement between different instruments, when it becomes easier, it increases the confidence of the consumer, it increases the confidence level of the merchants, because they are not dependent on accepting money only from a single kind of instrument. No, there are no longer closed ecosystems but more open ecosystems, so which ultimately results in much greater adoption. This is something that has happened earlier in in cards, and I think the same thing will happen now in the wallet industry in terms of adoption of UPI.
On that note, Bipin, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Central, and I'm afraid with that interview we come to the end of this edition of Startup Central. Diverse voices on demonetization. The verdict is still out. Some good, some bad, but if this leapfrogs the economy into adopting more digital transactions, that could perhaps be a good thing at the end of it. But on that note, thanks so much for watching, and keep it with ET Now.